Wintering, preparation of hives. Taking advantage of the end of the nectar flow, the colony space must be reduced to the brood chamber. In this way, the population adapts to this new availability and stores reserves accordingly. For Rodrigo Gonzalez, director of Beekeeping Without Borders, when we are going to prepare the hive for wintering, we must consider population, 10 squares covered with bees with corresponding reserves, and one productively fit queen are enough for the colony to overwinter and initiate the development of the brood nest in the spring. Reserves. Regarding reserves, we usually especially consider the honey or sugar requirements of a brood chamber, which is estimated between 8 and 10 kilos. In most cases, the protein requirement is not usually considered. Protein is provided by plant pollen and is used to complete the body development of adult bees, muscles, glands, immune system, etc., or for tasks in the brood nest, larvae food, wax production, etc. Although there are reserves of pollen accumulated in the honeycomb, their quality declines over time. Autumn bees have the ability to store protein as a body reserve, and the survival of the hive in winter and spring development depends on these reserves. Any factor that alters the bee's ability to accumulate body reserves in autumn compromises colony survival and spring development. At this point, Rodrigo Gonzalez likes to overwinter with a blocked brood chamber and a half reserve with a reserve, both separated by a poncho that can maintain the heat of the hive, but he also recommends that this cover not be total to allow moisture to evaporate and keep the colony healthy. For those interested in how to block a hive, you have several videos on our channel available to everyone. Health. It is time to do a very good control of Varroa and verify the effectiveness of the treatment by monitoring the prevalence before and after application. To monitor the prevalence of Varroa, you must sample 30% of the hives in the apiary. Place at least 300 bees from both sides of 3 different frames of each hive in a jar, being careful not to take the queen. Water plus detergent, or water plus alcohol, must be added to the bottle. The container must be shaken well to facilitate the release of the varroas. It is then filtered using a double sieve, one of which retains the bees and the other the varroas. Varroas and bees should be counted separately. The percentage of infestation is calculated using the following formula: Varroas times 100 divided by the number of bees. It is necessary to reduce the number of varroas at the end of the nectar flow so that the bees improve their nutritional status before entering wintering without interference from the parasite. However, the presence of breeding and the lack of coordinated area treatments enable the growth of the varroa population and reinfestation from neighboring apiaries. For this reason, it may be necessary to carry out a second treatment with an active ingredient different from the first before it forms. The winter bolus. Varroa treatment in the fall should not be delayed, since the damage it causes to new generations of bees is irreversible. Varroa reduces the level of body protein, which is the source of the bees' body defenses and the protein reserve for spring development. There may be the case of heavily populated hives with adequate reserves, but with late treatment against Varroa in autumn that present a high winter mortality rate. In the spring, the surviving hives will be free of Varroa, but the damage is irreparable. It is important to prevent the hives from dying during the winter in the countryside. A hive weakened or killed by American foul brood is taken over by the others, spreading the disease. If this occurs in winter, when visits to the apiaries are less frequent, surely in the following spring we will see that the other hives in the apiary show signs of the disease. If you want to know more about this and other diseases, you can find the videos on our channel, as well as international conferences where we speak with specialists at the time. Therefore, we must ensure that the hives that winter are well populated, headed by a new queen, with an adequate reserve of honey, pollen, and body reserves, and without health conditions. Another video from Rodrigo Gonzalez, Director of Beekeeping Without Borders, for beekeepers around the world.